First of all, I just want to mention that the learning that we're learning tonight, and if anybody could say to him, from Mishulem ben Sarachel, needs a very big Yeshua and refuah, and the learning torah should be l'schus l'refuah. Last week we learned inside Sif Gimel, and we concentrated on the concept Sivan of Matan Torah. We are holding in the biggest event of in the history of Kollel Yisrael as a nation of Kollel Yisrael. And what happened in this event? That's when first of all we became Bnei Yisrael, and we also became Mamleches Kohanim. V'atem tiyuli Mamleches Kohanim v'goy kodesh means we became this Malchus. We are officers. Each and every one of us are officers in the Melucha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So last week we learned the following. We learned that there is a concept of a hastara, a concealment, and there's a concept of hastara shebetoich hastara, a concealment within a concealment. Why is it called hastara shebetoich hastara? Why isn't it just called another hastara? I have one hastara that I know Hashem is concealed from me, and I have another hastara that I don't even know that Hashem is concealed. So we explained last week that this hastara and the hastara shebetoich hastara comes from two directions. It comes from the Rebbe Nachman. The pasuk says, "V'anoichi haster," that I will conceal myself in a concealment from you. And the Rebbe explains, and we learned this last week, that when the Rebbe Nachman conceals himself from you, this is bitter. But when he conceals the concealment, and we've seen that in history of Kollel Yisrael several times, where there was a concealment of the concealment in Yetzias Mitzrayim. There was a mamish in the Memta Shari Tumah. There was a concealment within a concealment. The Holocaust. We can relate more to what was more current. The Holocaust. The famous question is, where was Hashem? Right? In other words, so what concealment from a concealment within a concealment, from the Eibishter's point of view, when the Eibishter is hiding from us, is considered when we don't even know that he's hidden from us. We can't even, when we know he's hiding, that's one concealment. But when we don't even know that he's hidden from us, that's a concealment within a concealment, because the concealment is hidden from us. So it's hastara shebetoich hastara. That's one direction of the hastara shebetoich hastara. There's another direction of the hastara shebetoich hastara that we create. We create the distance from spirituality. We are creating our own hastaras. And Rebbe Nachman explained, of Avashana, Nasalei Keheta. When a person does an Aveira, and he repeats the Aveira, it's Nasalei Keheta. What does it mean, Nasalei Keheta? So the Rebbe said, everything in the world has chiyus of the Eibishter. And how does everything have vitality and sustenance in the world? Every object, every thought, every dibur, every maisa, everything has elikus. By the way, today's l'schus refuahs, Mishulem ben Sarachel, it's a big Yeshua. Saying, hey Kiva. So it's saying that when a person does an Aveira the first time, he knows he's doing something wrong. When he repeats the Aveira a second time or a third time, that's how he becomes an addict. That's how we all become an addict to what are we running away from? Therapy, they teach you. Everybody feels a void, and they don't want to accept the void of the feeling that they, whatever feeling they're going to meet, and in order to run away from the feeling, everybody has their vice of where they run away. And sometimes, once you break the boundaries go a little more, a little more, until you do the Aveira, the actual Ma'aseh Aveira. First you think about it, Machshava, then you talk about it, B'dibur, and then B'Ma'aseh. But we all know, unfortunately, that we come to that place. And then, the first time we do it, there's guilt, and we feel like, okay, I don't really want to do this. It's also I wasn't able to control myself. You repeat the Aveira a second time and a third time until it's Nasalei Keheta. What was usher to you became mutter. So Rebbe Nachman explains, what does it mean what's usher to you became mutter? Since everything in the world that exists has chiyus of the Eibishter, and the way there is chiyus in every object, and everything that exists in the world is through the Oisis HaTorah. So when a person does an Aveira and he breaks the boundaries of the Oisis HaTorah from Asr to Mutter. He's converting the Oisis that said this is Asr, and he's converting it to Mutter. And when he repeats the Avera again and again and again, he sucks out all the Chiyas Alikus from these Oisis HaTorah. And when he sucks out the Chiyas Alikus from these Oisis HaTorah, it becomes, to him, the Torah is foolish. It becomes foolish because it was Nasa Leket to Nasa Leket. The Rebbe is telling you that's considered one Hastorah. That means when you go and you do an Avera and you repeat the Avera and you can become addicted to the Avera, that's considered one Hastorah. The Hastorah Shabbatayich Hastorah is when you forgot already that it was once Asr. That means, and we know that once you do an Avera, you broke the boundary, now you break the next boundary. And the next boundary that you broke, it's not related anymore to the original boundary that you broke. It's because you were here. Once you're here, you went into another Hastorah Shabbatayich Hastorah. So he says through the Ribuy Averas, not just this Avera, but this Avera is Avera Gereres Avera. It brings you to the next. The next Avera or the Ribuy Averas that you're doing is going to create the Hastorah Shabbatayich Hastorah. Says the Rebbe. So if there's Hastorah or Hastorah Shabbatayich Hastorah, so if there's a Hastorah, one Hastorah, where I know that Hashem is concealed. Oh, that is Shalom Aleichem. If I know that Hashem is concealed from me, so I know that something's missing, I can go and search for it. But if I don't know that Hashem is missing from me, because I justified it, because I made it okay, because I did that, I made it okay, so I don't know to look for something. How could I look for something that I don't know is missing? I justified it. It's completely okay. Me and God, we are good. Because I go to shul, I separate it. You know how Malach Galach, we spoke about this last week. We separate. We go to shul, we daven, then we go to business, and there's a complete separation of God. Over here, we go back to mincha, and I'm not discounting, Chas v'shalom, I'm not discounting the good things that we do, but we make peace with the Yetzer Hara. What?
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, we compartmentalize. We make peace with the Yetzer Hara. And so the point is that when we're creating our distances from the Malchus of the Eibishter. Where is Hashem? Let's. Everybody's going to tell you. You know, we're always looking for external things to connect to divinity, to spirituality. We go to the Kollel, we go to Oman, we go to Davin, we go to learn. We're looking for the external. It's external. What is the external? And we think, this is the mistake that we make. We think that the place of connection, the outlet, is in the Beis Medrash. The outlet is in the Kollel. The outlet of connection is external. The external is only revealing the internal. The place, where is Hashem? Inside you. Every Yid has a Nishmas Alekai Mimal and has something called Malchus. V'hoisol Hashem Amlucha. What does Malchus mean? That I'm part of this big, we spoke about it last week, that the United States of America is the Malchus. What's the Malchus of the United States of America? The territory, all the citizens, everything that exists within the 50 states of the United States is the Malchus. And the president, the vice president, the senators, the Congress, everybody is serving the United States of America. So, Lahavdul Al-Vadol, when we're serving Hashem's Malchus, and the Eibishter gave us, by Matan Torah, he gave Atem Tiyuli, Mamlechas Kohanim V'Goy Kodesh. He instilled in us, we became part of his Malchus. So where is Hashem? Where is the real outlet to connect to Hashem? Internally. The Nishmas Alekai, the real you, the real us, the real everybody has a real you and a pretend you. And we all, what we see here is the pretend you. And at moments we can see through the pretend you, the real you. And I'm talking to myself also. When I say you, I mean me. I mean us. Everybody. We layered ourselves up because of our journey in life with Hastaras. And Hastaras Shabbatayich Hastaras. And Hastaras Shabbatayich Hastara. So the Rebbe is saying, so when you're so distant from spirituality that you have only moments of connection to spirituality, how should one be able to get logically? You can't get out of the Hastaras Shabbatayich Hastara because you don't even know. You're so distant that you don't even know that you're distant. So how do you get out? Logically, there is no teretz to it. The Rebbe says there is something called das, and we spoke about this last week. Das is connection. What's connection? It's the connection to the spirituality, to the divinity that exists in this world, and we know that nothing in this world can exist without spirituality. There's nothing here that is materialistic that doesn't have in it spirituality, because the real world is fake. What we see is not real. The spiritual world is the real world, but it's diluted into materialistic world. The Eibishter Dafka wants us to be Megala from this world. He wants us to be Megala, the spirituality. So we have to find the spirituality that's in everything in the world. How can we connect to that? How do I connect to the spirituality at the table? It's impossible. I know Hashem is everywhere, but how can I connect to the spirituality in the materialistic world? So the answer is, the only way to do that is with Das. Das, Chachma is my intellect. Bina, we said, is my application of the intellect. Wisdom, we call it. And the knowledge, what is knowledge? Knowledge is something when it's internal. Knowledge is not just, I know science, and I know how I'm a great mathematician, and I'm able to solve equations. Knowledge is when it's internal, it became part of me. Not only do I know this, but I live this. That's what our avodah is. Our avodah is to live das. Das, he said last week, Hashem Olakim. We are living, das is connection. Says the Rebbe. Das, this das, we can get through Eisek HaTorah. And we said last week, the Eisek HaTorah doesn't only mean Limud HaTorah. Limud HaTorah is also part of Eisek HaTorah, probably the biggest part of Eisek HaTorah. But Eisek HaTorah is when Torah consumes me. When the Torah becomes part of me. I told you, my Rebbe said, Ben Torah is someone who's a product of Torah. When he walks in the street, what you see is the Torah is walking, because he's a product of Torah. The Eibishter, the only way, the only tool that we have to be able to connect to the divine, to the spirituality, to the real me, to unlayer the Astaras, Astaras, is through this concept of Das. And the only way to get to this das is through the Torah, because the Torah gives us the kelim to connect to the Chaya Chaim. And when we're living without das, we're just existing. And every moment that we pump and infuse Arichas Yomim in das, into our malchus, into our spirituality, internally, into the outlet that's here, inside, underneath, that's where the real outlet is. That's the outlet. All the external things are only to open up the outlet that's inside, but we're so layered and so distant from that outlet that even when we get Nisaira, we're Nisaira for moments and we don't know how to capture it and make it part of us. Says the Rebbe, the Eitzah. The Eitzah is, the first thing of Das is acknowledgement. Acknowledge that Hashem is here. Even though I don't know, I know He's everywhere. So once I know that Hashem is everywhere, and I acknowledge that He's everywhere, I start walking around my day, and I start saying, even when I do an Avera, the Rebbe says, even when you're doing an Avera, whether it's Machshava of Avera, Dibur of Avera, or Maisa of Avera, because the Rebbe explains, the way we do an Avera is L'chayra, but that's not. Let's talk about the actual Avera. How about that? Let's not try to understand the mechanics. Let's just understand what we go through when we do an Avera. We go through denial. We deny Hashem. That's what we're doing. Even though we know, conceptually, in theory, but we have to deny it right now. At this moment, I can't let that thought in, because if I let that thought in, I can't do the Avera. The only way I can do the Avera is by denying. We are creating, that's clear. We're creating the Astaras. There is a creation of the Astarah that the Eibishter created, which we'll talk about. That happened by Pesach and Shavuos. But we're creating the Astarah. So the question, Yossi asked the question, how can I acknowledge Hashem if I'm denying it? Because if my only method to be able to do what I'm doing is by denying him. How can I acknowledge something while I'm denying? The Rebbe says something very, 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 very deep. The acknowledgement alone will bring you an awareness. If you start going through your day, in the beginning you're going to do it cheshbon hanefesh retroactively. By the way, everybody talk to Hashem, start making a relationship with Hashem 5 minutes a day. I'm telling you, the most therapeutic thing in the world. You talk to Hashem you talk to your emotions, you talk about your problems, you talk about the thing, but that's how you get to more awareness. What we're really missing is the awareness. We are mamish not in awareness of the presence of Hashem everywhere. And we think that Hashem created the world and He created a system, and every once in a while He pops up and peaks, and we say, wow, that was Hashem. You know what happened to me today? Hashgacha pratis. You know, that was, wow. He's doing it all the time. It's every second. You don't move your fingers and your hands without Him micromanaging. Everything is Him. But we're not in awareness because we're so used to, and we take for granted that all the functions that we have and everything that we're doing, that's normal. That's Hamachadesh Betuva B'chol Yom Tov. I had a Rebbe that said that he said in Yiddish, Ich lebe jetzt. I'm living now, not because I was living a second before, because I'm a chadesh betuva b'chol yom tov. Every second, the Rebbe Nachman is infusing new chiyus into me, and it's not because it was a second before, because I'm getting brand new chiyus right now. So kum toisazah, that das, the acknowledgement of recognizing that Hashem is with me everywhere. Just acknowledging. I don't see you, I don't feel it, but I know you're here. You start acknowledging Him everywhere, you're going to start seeing Him everywhere. You're going to get these new lenses. And anybody who tries this can attest to it. And every one of you tried it and just gave up. Because we all give up. But we always have moments. And when we get those moments, we get this ability to be able to see the world a little bit differently than we saw the world before, because we got an Osiris, whether it was a niggin that got us in the Osiris, whether it was a davening that was in the Osiris, limud torah, chesed, whatever it is that got you in the Osiris, you get that feeling of, 1 second, I can hold on to you, get a little bit of power, and you start getting this ability. What is that? That's called das. That's called das. What happens though is that we lose it because we don't trust it. We trust our comfort in the discomfort of this world much more than we trust the comfort of the spirituality that we're getting, because we're scared. We're scared. What do you mean? If I really go into the spirituality and if I really get there, I'm going to be a flip out. I'm going to be crazy. Everybody else works for money. I'm not going to work for money. Yeah. Rebbe Nachman says no. If you get das, if you get this lens, you're going to have all the money in the world. You're going to have all the peace in the world. Not only are you going to have all the peace in the world, you're going to be Magala, the Malchus of the Eibishter. You're going to get promoted to general and the high, I don't know the names of the thing, in the officer of the Maluch of Hashem, and everything that's going to be taken care of you. Because that's what Malchus is. Malchus is something that's served, not something that serves. Everything's going to be served to you. Just what? Don't be a taker. Don't be a taker. We are all chapping opportunities at all times, being a taker. Says the Rebbe, when you get this das, how are you going to get that? By the simple acknowledgement that Hashem is here with me in my Avera, in my Machshava, in my Diba Maisa. We can't associate God in the Avera. The only thing, the best association we can do in the Avera is after the Avera. We do tshuva, so that's the best scenario. Rebbe Nachman saying, no, don't do it afterwards. B'shas Maisa, I know you're here. Rebbe Nachman says there's 3 types of weaknesses that make us do the Maisa Avera. There's one weakness where I don't have the power. I know it's wrong, and I don't have the power to overcome. And I'm an addict. And this, I already did Ava V'Shana. I got to this place of addiction, and I can't. I get the urge. Every time I get that urge, I'm powerless and I just jump into the thing. That's one way of doing the Avera. Yes. So that's one way of doing an Avera. Another way of doing the Avera is, like we said, I once was in yeshiva, and I was a good bacher, and I was learning, and I was, doing the right thing. Then I got married, I left yeshiva, I started partying, and I disconnected. So I remember once upon a time, 50 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30, I remember that's another type. That means once, way back, I knew this was wrong. Today, I justified it. I'm a different person. This is me. That's another level. And the third level is when I completely deny Hashem. I can't live with the anxiety anymore. I can't live with this conflict of Malach, Galach. I have to make a choice. I'm going to choose. The best choice is you're not here. I'm going to live the world like everybody else is living the world and pretending, but I'm not going to pretend. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real in the pretend. That's called Nashu v'Kavtzum and Kovish Oil. It's another type of Nashu. Says the Rebbe, all of these three, every one of this type of three weaknesses are weaknesses that the tzaddik is able to take out. Mordechai tzaddik, who exemplified Malchus in its perfection, Mordechai tzaddik was able to go into the Astorah, Shebetoich Astorah, which was in Malchus Achashverosh, and to reveal in the Astorah, Shebetoich Astorah, and he went into the Chatzar Beis HaNoshim, he went into the courtyard of the Beis HaNoshim, Noshim representing all three of these weaknesses, Ladas Eshleim Esther, to bring in Das into the Astorah Shebetoich Astorah. And what was the das that he was bringing? The acknowledgement. Hashem is here. It looks terrible. It looks bad. The world's going to pieces. The health. Everybody's got their problems. Whatever their problems is, Hashem, where are you, Hashem? Come on. There was a time when you were smiling. Now you're not smiling. It's Astorah Shebetoich Astorah. I'm distant. I don't know. I keep turning to you and it doesn't work. I daven. It doesn't work. What's going on here? Das. We're missing that connection to the spirituality. That's what Das is. And that's what we're holding here in this evening. This was an introduction, pretty long introduction. Are we really comfortable are we happy? Are we content in our state of mind? Is our state of mind a state of mind of content? We're just distracted, so we don't think. And if you're happy, some people who are not happy are more connected than people who are happy, because the people who are happy are such a star that they're distracted. They don't even know that they're not stars, so they're happy. The person who's not so happy, who's fighting, he knows that Hashem is Mustah. He doesn't know how to get out of this trap. So what do? We create a comfort in the discomfort. That means we'd rather be in darkness.
Comfortably uncomfortable.
We'd rather be, very good, comfortably uncomfortable. I would rather be in darkness, and we can adjust to anything. So we made an adjustment into this. We see this pattern again and again and again. I'm never getting out of this trap. Let me get a couch in the darkness. Let me get a little air conditioner in the darkness. I'm going to stay in Sholtachtis. Let me just get, it's hot over here. So what we do is we make, Das is the light that reveals the unlayered. It unlayers the unlayers. And I forgot to add one more thing that the Rebbe says, a very important thing. That this Hastorah, Shebetoich Hastorah, that the person's in, whichever, every person has their Hastorah and their Hastorah, Shebetoich Hastorah, and Hastorah, Shebetoich Hastorah. But the Rebbe is telling us that since the Hastorah, Shebetoich Hastorah doesn't have Hashem, seemingly, but in a very concealed way, it has the biggest potency of spirituality, because it can't exist in the world without spirituality. And yet, it's the opposite of serving Hashem, because it's taking you away from Hashem. So how can it exist? What kind of spirituality needs to be infused into the thing that's most distant from Hashem? The biggest potency of spirituality, because it wouldn't be able to exist. Says Rebbe Nachman, when you reveal that Astorah Shebetoich Astorah, how? by just acknowledging that the Rebbeinu Shalom is there, you think you're doing nothing. I'm still doing the Aveira. I'm still in my discomfort place, but I am acknowledging you're here. You are here. Not I'm disassociating you from you here. I am making the connection. You're here. You're in my Aveira. That is revealing the biggest torah Hashem. And he brings a raya that in Mitzrayim, when we were meant to Shari Tumah, we learned this last week, we were meant to Shari Tumah, so it says, Vavarti Beretz Mitzrayim, we say in the Haggadah, Ani v'loy malach. What do we learn from it? Vavarti, the Hebrew says, I passed over Beretz Mitzrayim, Ani v'loy malach, Ani v'loy shliach, Ani Hashem v'loy yacha. The Eibishter himself, and the Chazal tell us that the reason was because a malach can't be mavchin ben tov l'ra. Once he gets permission to destroy anything that comes in the way he's doing. But the Eibishter was able to go from house to house, find the Bechor, knew which Bechor, each Bechor, only the Eibishter could have done that. Rebbe Nachman says, why? Because they were in the biggest hastorah shebetoich hastorah. They were in the Mem Tesh Shari Tumah Mamish. So it needed the biggest Torah, the biggest potency, the biggest spirituality. He brings a riot. From there you see that when you think that you're just being Megala, you're outer layer of acknowledgement, you have so much more work to do, and you don't appreciate that I did one little thing. The Rebbe is telling you, that one little thing is the biggest Torah Hashem Mamish. More than all the layers that are going to come there, because that's going to give the power to continue revealing the Astaras until it's going to bring you to the real you, and you're going to really be able to connect to yourself, which is the spiritual Malchus that we have inside, the Malchus of Hashem that we have, and that's what we got here in Shavuos. That's why this was all a build-up to come into Shavuos over here. Zog the Heilige Rebbe. Shavuos, Zog the Heilige Rebbe. I want to tell you something, guys. I said this last week, I'm saying it again. Open your hearts when you hear the words of the Rebbe. And first of all, every single word talks to you. Every single word talks to you. Listen to him as if he's talking to you individually. I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. It changed mine, and believe me, my journey. You know what I'm saying? If it could change mine, it could change anybody's. The Rebbe says like this. This is the inyan of Shavuos, the yontif of Shavuos. Why? Ki Shavuos hu bechina seichel gadol v'gavoya ma'od. Shavuos is a big seichel, very high, lofty, big seichel, enlightened. Why? What happened on Shavuos? Matan Torah, the Eibishter gave the Torah. What happened at Matan Torah? We were given the biggest das. The das that means that was the ultimate das. The Eibishter took us out of Mitzrayim. We elevated us 49 days. We went through each process of Hastara, Shabbatoi Hastara. We went through Chesed, Shabbat Chesed, Gvura, Shabbat Chesed, Teferet, Shabbat Chesed, Netzach, Shabbat Chesed, and then Vaiter and Gvura. We dissected every single component of the Hastaras till Klal Yisrael as a nation came. There was no Hastara. It was Das Elyon, Mamash, the biggest Das. That's what happened. So Shavuos represents, the Rebbe is telling you, Shavuos is not just Shavuos then 3,000 years ago by Matan Torah, this big event, but every single Shavuos there is a revelation of this power. This power, Rabbi said, listen, I'm telling you, it's Mamash Kedai. These are words, you're coming into the Yontif of Shavuos, but the question is going to be, but I didn't do any work, and we're almost at at game time over here. What are we going to do? I didn't exercise, I didn't practice, I didn't do. We're going to talk about that in a second. Says the Rebbe, first understand what this potency of this yontif is. This yontif is giving us the ability to get this lenses, to get this das, to be able to see in the world, in my life, in my thoughts, in everything that's surrounding me, in my environment, to able to see divinity, to able to see mamish, to see Hashem. Who doesn't? Don't you want to finally be able to see what you believed in your whole life? You want to try to see. Shavuos is that revelation. Ata negleisa b'anan kvodecha. We say in Rosh Hashanah, when we say Malchus, the Shofar is Malchus, Ata negleisa b'anan kvodecha. Well, you came through and it was such an event. By the way, it was not an event. It says v'chola royim es hakolos. They all saw the sound. Can you see sound? Can anybody see sound? Is there such a thing in the world? Seeing sound is not something that can be. You can measure sound. You can see sound. But in the spiritual world, you can see everything. In the world of spirituality, everything has a visual. Everything. There's nothing that doesn't have a visual. Klal Yisrael came to such a madrega of das that they took the biggest physicality it's a stirum and obey. Sound cannot be seen. And v'chola royim es hakolos, they saw. We have the ability to be able to get these glasses. And if we got these glasses and we saw, we can trust. We can say, but Rebbe talks about it later, about Maimah Pasuk, Nema Pashut, that you get this trust in the divinity. We don't trust our spirit. We don't trust ourselves. And we don't trust the spirituality. What do you mean that's going to mislead me? I saw those guys. You ever saw the guys that really got spiritual? They're crazy. They're flip outs. I'm not them. They're wackos. They don't live on this earth. Come on, they don't live. First of all, they're not crazy. We're crazy. And second of all, the Eibishter wants us to take this world, everything about this world, and connect it to it. The mistake that we make many times when we go into spirituality, we let go of anything physical, materialistic, is not shaykh to this. No, dafka to take the spirit, the physicality, and make it spiritual. They saw sound. Sound is something physical, but they made a visual of it. That was the das. They were able to connect it together. So then, by the way, you won't be a flip out, you won't be crazy, and you'll be what you think is normal. Says the Rebbe. So Shu Chesed Elyon V'Rachmem Gedolim. The Rebbe says this das, real das. By the way, what is this das? Not only is this das the ability to be able to see spirituality. Says the Rebbe, Ki Goydel HaRachmem Tolu B'Goydel HaDas. Rachmanus is totally in das. What compassion, empathy, sympathy, mercy is hinged on das. Why? Because where is anger come from? Where's anger come from? Where does cruelty come from? No, it comes from achzorius. Achzorius means achzori. It's frem to me. I estranged myself from him. I separated myself from him. The opposite of das. Das is connection. The more I am connected, the more empathy I have. The more I can see something with lenses that even when something triggers me, somebody acts to me in a way that's not geschmack, the way I would like them to act, or I see, and we're always judging all day we're really judging ourselves because we could only see in Yenim what we see in ourselves, but we're judging all day, and many times we estrange ourselves and separate, we make boundaries. You lose yourself, and you estrange yourself. But when you get das, you get Rachmanus. The more das you have, the more Rachmanus. Shavuos, which was Matan Torah, which was the ultimate das, what does it say? B'shas Matan Torah, nirlem kizokein malerachmem. Shas Matan Torah, the Hashem appeared to us like a elderly person, malerachmem. Elderly, today's my 55th birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday.
So get Yeshiva Das.
A pair of five, that's good.
Why? Because Zokein, the Rebbe says, who be Yeshiva Das. Zokein who be Yeshiva Das. Ubezeh Goydel HaRachma. And when you become settled, you're not all over the place. You become more settled. And the Eibishter appeared to us, Matan Torah, he appeared to us like a Zokein Malei Rachman. Why Zokein Malei Rachman? Because Zikna is das, there is Yeshiva das. Malei Rachman, the more das there is, the more Rachmanis there is, the more empathy. What was needed for this empathy? What was needed was that every single Yid needed to be part of the Meluch of Hashem. Was for every single Yid. And not every single Yid was on the level of das, like the other Yid. Like we see, there are some people that are more connected, some people less connected. But when the das Elyon is revealed, every Yid has to be part of it. Even that's why we said last week that why do we count the spheres from Chesed down to Malchus, l'chayr should go the opposite way. If we want to elevate, we're going down from the lower part. We want to fix the Malchus first, then we go up, all the way up to Chesed. Why do we go Chesed down to Malchus? And Teretz is because the last sphere is Malchus Sheba Malchus. Why Malchus Sheba Malchus? Because Malchus cannot be complete until the lowest element of Malchus is included in the Malchus. So that means Soif Dava Hakol Yirei. The Rebbe brings that pasuk. Sach Hakol, exactly what you're saying. It has to be so which is a murdig chizik for all of us, by the way. That we're coming to this mountain Torah. We're coming to this, and everybody wants to connect. There's no one that doesn't want to connect unless he forgot that he wants to connect or he gave up that he wants to connect. But there's an opportunity of connection. There's an opportunity of Das Elyon here. So what limits us is that we don't prepare because we push off, and we don't think we're worthy, and we come mamish to game time and we got nothing. And then we say, now I'm going to connect. Yeah, now I'm going to connect. You know why? Because you know what game time is? Game time, this last sphere before Matan Torah, is Malchus Sheba Malchus. It's talking about the lowest element of Malchus. The Ma'asaf Mikol HaMachnas, the Malchus, that the people who were lost, that Amalek, it says that Amalek, the whole power of Amalek was Hanechsholim Acharecha, Asher Korcha Baderech, the people who get lost, the people who fell away, whether they fell away because they come and Amalek tries to get us in our weakest place because we give up. No, the place of the Astorah, Shebetoich Astorah, Adarabah. Because I'm not prepared at all, and I'm coming into the Yontiv of Shavuos, which is the biggest Gilui Das ever in the history of Klal Yisrael that comes in every single Yontiv. I'm going to be Megala, the biggest Das, by revealing that even me, even when I'm not prepped, even when I came in with nothing, I'm able to connect to the highest place because I'm coming from the Dafka, because I'm coming from the lowest place. So one will say, maybe we should do this L'chatchila. No, we're not saying do it L'chatchila, but everybody feels, no matter who you are, you feel like you're in the lowest place. You don't feel that you're in the thing. But when you understand that the lowest place has the ability to be converted to the highest place with just an acknowledgement, just by acknowledging that I know you're here, Rebbe Shalom, I know you, I don't know where you are. I want to connect to you. Now is coming this Yontif of Matan Torah. I didn't learn. The Shlach Kodesh says, by the way, that just like on Rosh Hashanah, the Rebbe Shalom says Parnasa for each person. On Shavuos, on Matan Torah, it's given out how much Torah you're going to be able to be zeicher to be learned this year. So what we said, Eisek HaTorah does what? Eisek HaTorah brings Das, which is connection. And what does Das bring? Parnasa. So it's Hainu Ach. It's all the same thing. We have the ability to connect with this night of Shavuos. And that one more thing, I'm just going to quickly, one more paragraph, because if a person says, no, but how am I going to connect? Zok the Rebbe, v'zeh b'chinas, ha-mikvah shel Shavuos. This is one of the big Breslin things that is known. The mikvah of Shavuos morning is the biggest mikvah of the year. Shehu b'chinas mikvah shel shara chamishim. This is the mikvah of the 50th gate. Shu shara elyon minun shara bina. It's the highest of the highest of the highest. Shehu b'chinas seicha v'das elyon b'chinas chesed elyon v'rachman kedolim. Says the Rebbe that even if I got nothing, nada, gurnish, I can go to the mikveh, I can surrender to the divine by giving my, Shlomo Kabbalah said, what's the kavanas of mikveh? Everybody, kavanas, what should I be maran? The kavana is that I should surrender my guf, I'm surrendering myself to you to be matarim. Ma mikveh matarim zatzmeim, ma v'akodesh baruch matarim Yisrael. The Rebbe says, mikveh Yisrael, Mashiach be'esara. Mikveh has the power to help us go out of tzaras. We say in Tefillah Zakah, these are the last words of Tefillah Zakah, Mikveh Yisrael Mashiach be'esara, Mashiach Vadai. The Zohar Kodesh says, it's Vadai Mashiach. So, Rabbi say, we're coming to this Yontif of Shavuos, and hopefully we still have days to prepare. We have Rosh Chodesh, tonight's Rosh Chodesh, Mamish. We have to dance. Klal Yisrael was in the midbar now. You have to visualize that don't you want to go out of your Mitzrayim? Don't you want to have enough is enough? Enough tzaras, enough. We all need Yeshuas. People need Yeshuas in Refuas, and people need Yeshuas in Parnasa, and people need Yeshuas in Zivugim, and people need Yeshuas. The biggest Yeshua is to connect to Rebbe Nachman. We are living a life of disconnection. Why can't we bring in more connection? May we be Zoicha with this Yontif, the mikvahs, through the mikvah of Shavuos, through the Matan Torah, to get this das, to be Megala das Torahs, to reveal our disconnects that we caused on ourselves. And the way to get to that is to go through the tzaddikim, through the Heilige Torah of these tzaddikim, especially these tzaddikim Yuchadim, Lodas as Shloim Esther.
Oh, you can drink as much as you want.